We'll start way back, and I mean before Wi-Fi, before pizza, even before socks, with the first peoples of North America, the Native American nations. Now, before Europeans ever set sail, Native peoples had already built complex societies all across the continent. We're talking about hundreds of unique tribes, each with their own languages, governments, beliefs, traditions, and, yes, snack recipes that put modern trail mix to shame. Let's take a quick tour, shall we? In the Northeast, you had the Iroquois Confederacy, or Haudenosaunee, which was basically the original Democracy Club. 5 powerful nations, the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca, joined forces and governed together using a constitution known as the Great Law of Peace. That's right, before the U.S. Constitution existed, these folks had already nailed down government teamwork. Moving to the southeast, tribes like the Cherokee and Creek lived in farming communities with permanent homes, councils, and economies based on trade. Their crops like corn, beans, and squash were called the Three Sisters, and they were the power trio of healthy eating. Out west in the Southwest Desert, the Pueblo peoples like the Hopi and Zuni built entire cities out of clay, stone, and adobe. And they didn't just survive the desert, they turned it into an art gallery, decorating everything from pottery to entire walls with beautiful designs. Bonus, they also figured out irrigation systems long before plumbing was a thing. In the Pacific Northwest, tribes like the Tlingit and Chinook didn't even need to farm much. The rivers and oceans were so full of salmon, they basically had all-you-can-eat seafood buffets. They carved massive totem poles, built giant wooden houses, and threw legendary parties called potlatches, which involved gift-giving, dancing, storytelling, and sometimes bragging rights. Think birthday party meets royalty. And don't forget the Plains tribes, like the Lakota, Comanche, and Cheyenne. These communities followed bison herds across the grasslands, living in portable tipis and becoming expert horse riders after horses were introduced by Europeans. Spoiler alert, the horses were originally Spanish. The native peoples just got really good at using them. So, what do all these groups have in common? Wisdom, resilience, and creativity. They lived in balance with the land, developed rich oral histories, spiritual practices, and ways of life that lasted thousands of years. And here's the kicker, many of their ideas like community decision-making and protecting nature still inspire people today. Now, it's important to know, when Europeans eventually did arrive, spoiler alert for next episode, they didn't just discover a continent. North America was already home to millions of people with their own civilizations and knowledge. And while some of those first encounters involved trade and curiosity, a lot of what followed included conflict, disease, broken promises, and major changes to native life, topics we'll cover more deeply in later episodes. But today, let's remember this: the story of America doesn't begin with ships sailing from Europe. It begins with people already here. People who built, farmed, hunted, traded, ruled, and thrived. So next time someone starts American history with Columbus, feel free to raise your hand and say, actually, it started way before that, and the snacks were better. Coming up next, the Age of Exploration, or as we like to call it, how did we get so lost we found a whole continent? Don't miss it!